Hello Cosmic Dragon friends, let's take a look at this compatibility reading. We're looking at romantic compatibility today. So with this reading we're going to answer the question, is this person any good for me? Are they right for me? So the person on your mind, the person that you're interested in being romantically connected to, are they right? Are the energies right? So we're going to have a look at the energies and the emotions around this connection to see if they would actually be the right partner for you. So we've got 4 piles to choose from here. There's actually 4 different decks I've got laid out for you to choose from. So deck number 1, or pile number 1, this is the Oracle of the Fairies with some Citrine crystal here. Deck number 2 is the Dragon Wisdom with Rose Quartz. Deck number 3 is the Oracle, Messages from the Mermaids, and this is a clear quartz dragon egg. And then pile number 4 is the Star Dragons Oracle, and we have a Septarian heart here. Very interesting crystal, that one. Okay, so take a minute, tune into the energy, see which pile, which deck you feel drawn to, which crystal you feel drawn to. You might know very quickly, you might not. Remember, you can watch more than one if you feel drawn to do that. Also remember that if none of the messages make sense whatsoever, there might not be a message for you in this reading. So remember, of course, we all have free will. All your decisions are entirely up to you. I'm not here to tell you if you should or shouldn't be with somebody. We're just having a look at the energy. So I will see you in your readings. So hello pile 1, deck 1, you've chosen the Oracle of the Fairies and the Citrine crystal, which I always think looks like a chunk of orange ice lolly, but it doesn't melt. So let's pop that over there and let's take a look at the energy between you and your person, the person that you're interested in. So would this person be right for you? Let's take a look. What I'm going to do is I am actually going to do this in, to start with, in like person 1, person 2 format, just so that we can take a look at each person's energies, what you're bringing to the table, what you're contributing there. I'm assuming that person 1 is you and person 2 is the person you're interested in, but it could be the other way around, so bear in mind, or there could be some traits of both of you in each pile. So take what resonates for you, leave what doesn't. This is a group reading, so take the bits that make sense. Okay, so person 1, oops, 2, 3, person 2, there we go, and then the combined energies. Let's take a look. All right, so person 1, we have healing, we have divination, and we have inner child. Well, this is a very magical person to start with. Person 1 here. Wow, what an incredible soul. What a wonderful soul you are. Very interesting, very intuitive, but very sensitive as well, possibly with some inner child trauma that you're still working through. I think it can give you a very innocent kind of feel, a very beautiful, empathic, childlike energy, which is really beautiful and very attractive to a lot of people. You know, when we have that kind of energy, when we have that kind of beautiful innocence, we try to always look on the bright side, try to always be optimistic, very sunny kind of nature, very, very beautiful, very psychic energy. It could be a starseed, definitely empathic, this person, person 1. Definitely empathic, brings a lot to the table, but is easily hurt, very, very sensitive. So somebody who may need stronger boundaries, who may be at risk of getting into relationships, or have got into relationships in the past with people who maybe took advantage of you, maybe weren't as kind as they should have been, maybe you brought all of the empathy to the table and the other person didn't bring any at all. So let's take a look now at person number 2. So person 2, we have celebration, fairy spotting, and hidden depths. Right, okay, this is a more subtle energy here, but still gentle, still somebody of great depth. And straight off the bat, I'm quite liking this connection here. I'm liking this a lot. I think this is, person 2 is a little bit more outgoing than person 1 here, but they're still intuitive, they're still quite magical, because we've got the fairy spotting card, so they've still got their inner child coming through strongly as well. There's still a beautiful kind of childlike energy coming through there as well, but they have a lot that's hidden, so I don't think they would necessarily speak up about their emotions quite as much. This is somebody who keeps things under wraps, but they also have great depth insofar as, I want to say, spiritual depth. So this is a very interesting person here. And if neither of those is resonating, you might want to pick another pile. You might not quite have the right one here, but of course you are welcome to listen, because you may well get some little nuggets of information from your spirit guides. So first off, I want to say this is a nice connection. I like this a lot. I think you potentially have a lot in common. I think spiritually you have a lot in common as well, which is nice to see, because you don't always see that. You know, that's not always the case. I think you could both be interested in the same sort of spiritual or religious circles. You may sort of move in the same circles there. With the healing card, I'd say this person is a natural healer. But with the hidden depths, I feel this person has a healing ability too, magical abilities. Maybe they don't use them. Maybe they do. Maybe they're completely aware of it, you know, and that is something that they do. Because both very caring energies. I feel this beautiful, loving energy here with the two people. It's actually very nice to tune into. Really beautiful energy. We'll just have a look at the combined energies in the middle here. Manifestation. Yeah. I would say that this is a pairing where you can create a lot together. You can do a lot together. You kind of have the Midas touch, but without any of the bad side effects when you get together. This is a very magical connection, a very beautiful connection. So this potential connection, you know, that we're looking at here, or maybe you've already started dating them, you know, there's a very lovely potential here for this to be a longer term relationship, for this to be a serious relationship, for this to be a successful relationship. And is this person good for you? I would say yes. These people are good for each other. These two complement each other nicely. Person two, you know, isn't too harsh for person one. They are gentle enough, they are empathic enough to understand person one, and I think because of that, it's like your combined magics come together and you can achieve and do a lot together in the world, do a lot of good together in the world. It's a very beautiful pairing. It's almost like, I want to say like a spiritual power couple, if that makes sense, like almost like a spiritual power couple, I want to say. And that doesn't mean that, you know, you're in the public sphere, or that you have lots and lots of money or anything like that, but on the level of energy, this is a beautiful, compatible combination. We're just going to bring in some more cards here as well, just to see, get a little bit more depth, because just on the surface level of the energy, it's a very, very nice connection. But let's see what else we can find out here to see if this person really is right for you, if they are right for each other. Okay, if they're good for you, because that's the important thing, isn't it? I mean, it's all very well knowing if you like the person, if they like you, but if they're no good for you, I mean, what's the point if you're going to have a terrible time? So all right, let's bring in a few more cards here to each party. So, number 1, clarity of belief. Number 2, sacral chakra. Number 7, crown chakra. Yeah. And number 5, throat chakra. Okay. Right. Okay, with these cards here, with the crown and throat coming out together, and I can feel my throat activating a little bit there. I don't feel like this is a negative throat chakra reaction, though. I can feel it. I can certainly feel a little bit gravelly, but it's nothing major. It's just activating. I feel like this person is a little bit telepathic. I feel there could be some unspoken communication, and that could be because they're not very good at actually revealing everything that they feel with the Hidden Depths card here. It could be that they're not very good at speaking their heart, how they really feel, but I think they will be able to show you almost like telepathically, almost like, because there's this beautiful psychic link, and they would be able to let you know how they feel. On the flip side, they may assume that you know how they feel all the time, because they're very intuitive. I mean, person 2 is very, very intuitive in this connection, and this person's very empathic. So a lot of the communication may not be spoken at all, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't talk and still have spoken communication, because that's so important in relationships. You absolutely need that if it's going to go well. So I would say make sure that person 2 is speaking up when they need to say something, when they feel the need to say something. And with person 1 here, with clarity of belief, I think you're very clear that you want to be in a relationship with person 2. You're very clear about that, and I think you kind of wear your heart on your sleeve a little bit with this card coming up here. And certainly I think person 2 may be the person to reach out to person 1 may reach out to person 2. That this may be the initiator of the relationship, and if this is you, it could be that you're intending to initiate a relationship if you haven't already. Yeah, with the sacral chakra coming up, I do want to talk a little bit about self-worth, and I do want to remind you, you know, you are very much worthy in this relationship, even if this person doesn't always say how they feel all the time. I feel like this person, it's a good connection. I like it, but they may not always be the best at telling you how they feel, and I think that could hit your self-esteem a little bit. Your self-worth could take a hit occasionally if they're not speaking up enough. I mean, that would make sense if this person's a woman, this is a man. I mean, that's a classic combination, male and female, where the man doesn't speak up enough. You know, it doesn't matter what gender you are, of course, but it's that kind of dynamic. It's more of a feminine energy on this side, more of a masculine energy on that side. So yeah, there is a potential for some issues there. As long as communication is sorted out, this is really looking quite good for you, pile one. So let's bring in a few more cards here. Oops, that one wants to come out. Yes, it does. Challenging times. Seek the truth. Let's bring in some more energy in the middle here. Oh wow, look at that. Power couple. Beautiful. Yeah, that's what I was saying about being able to achieve a lot together. You really can achieve a lot together. I think you could be financially very successful together as well. That's what I was saying about manifesting your desires, manifesting your dreams. And I think you're both the kind of person who would actually take a leap of faith. You are both the kind of person who would take that step into the void, even if you weren't sure what was going to happen, because you both seem to have very deep-seated spiritual, religious beliefs here that mean that you trust God, you trust the universe to take care of you. And when one person's like that, sometimes it's important for the other person to be too, because otherwise you can really feel held back if the other person doesn't feel that way. So again, I'm seeing some very compatible traits here. One of the issues we may have, though, is the pair of you might not be grounded enough. I do want to say that the pair of you might tend to float off into the ether in these happy little daydreams, you know, and forget that actually there's the real world and bills to pay and things like that. So just to bear that in mind. So with challenging times, yes, there's definitely a lot on person one's plate. I would say that potentially you have been through some trauma. There may still be some bits to heal here as well. And I think your mind may play tricks on you. I mean, we all have that inner critic, don't we? But I feel person one's inner critic is quite harsh. So you may be somebody who's very, very hard on yourself, very hardworking, kind of get a Virgo energy here for some of you coming through there. So you might be a Virgo sun, moon or rising. Not necessarily, you know, this is a group reading. And with this one, now that's interesting, the 2 sevens. Very spiritual, again, like a spiritual seeker. This is a mystical seeker. This may be someone who studies the occult, who studies religion, who studies ancient cultures and beliefs. But I think because of their very open mind, I feel this person has a very open mind. I think they will be able to help person one through difficult times. So again, this is someone who gets to the bottom of things and goes, no, you're not a bad person. You just think that because this happened to you. I feel they would be the voice of reason to actually step in and go, no, I disagree. You know, here's what the truth is. You could actually show person one what the truth is. Person two, I think, is very... what's the word? I'm trying to think of. Very observant. They don't miss a thing. Very, very sharp-eyed, I think. Very observant indeed. They really don't miss a thing. They're sharp as a needle, and I think that can be very helpful. Sometimes it might be a little bit hurtful to person one, you know, because there could be a lack of tact there. Sometimes a little bit of arrogance can come through when we've got sevens here. There could be a little bit of arrogance. This person saying, oh, I know what the problem is. It's this and it's that, and it could come through sometimes a little bit harsher than person two intended it to. Again, communication may not always be their strongest suit. Not verbal communication, psychic communication. Oh hell yeah, verbal communication may not be their strongest suit. And particularly if person one still has some healing to do, you know, I think they can help you through it. But there may be some issues there. So just pay attention to how they react to you, how they act towards you, you know, and don't be afraid to speak up and say something if they're being a little bit too harsh, because I think they would be coming from the right place and it just might come out wrong. So I don't feel any malice or anything there, that there's nothing intentionally hurtful from person 2 towards person 1. I think they just genuinely want to help and want to get to the bottom of things as fast as possible. Very practical energy again. So you could be 2 earth signs with the kind of practical energy I'm getting through here, you know. So earth signs are Taurus, Capricorn, and of course Virgo. Very practical pairing. I think you could go far together. I think you could do a lot together. I mean, I'm particularly drawn to earth signs with all the money cards in the middle coming through here. But of course, not necessarily. You know, you may have some earth in your chart, or your sun sign, your moon sign, or the ascendant. But that doesn't have to be the case, absolutely not. So let's bring in some Romance Oracle cards here, just to get a little bit more insight here. These are really great little cards that my guides helped me to put together. So first, all right, this one wants to come out. Stars align. Wow. Wisdom and experience. And cat person, dog person. Okay. I'm going to pull these off the bottom because that's where I want to go. Work together for each other. What do you need to let go of? And possibly, maybe. Okay, let's get the combined energies here. Off the top. Oh, we've got 2. Moving forwards together. Stronger together. Yes. Wow. That's interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. I'm liking this combination a lot, pile 1. I'm very much liking this combination. You know, it may only be a potential relationship at the moment, but potentially the energy between you really is looking rather good. It feels like person 1 could fall for person 2 quite quickly. We've got stars align at the top. It could all happen very, very quickly, kind of like feeling a bit swept off your feet. But also, I feel like person 1 has the wisdom experience not to let it go to their head, not to be too silly about it. There's an emotional maturity that comes through here, you know, which you do often see with people who went through a lot in their childhood or who've been through trauma. You know, we know stuff. We've learned things. You know who you are. You know the kind of person you're looking for. I think person 1, I think you've been with people who were very different to you and it didn't work out, and you're a little bit cautious of that, but you also understand your own strengths and weaknesses. And with person 2 here, which I'm assuming is the other person, but it could be the other way around, remember. This is somebody who genuinely wants to work for a long-term relationship. You know, they will put their heart and soul into the person that they are into. Okay, and when they decide to do it, it's going to happen. And with 48 coming in here as well, this could be a karmic relationship. I feel quite strongly as well with the crown chakra coming in there, with the kind of telepathic connection, the healing connection as well, the psychic connection, religious connection. This does feel karmic. So it is a karmic relationship, I think, but a positive one where you can move forwards together, even if you don't stay together forever. You know, there's no guarantees of that. But certainly this would be I feel this would be a positive experience. So I think this would be a good combination of traits of personality, is a good combination. You can go, like I said, it's kind of that spiritual power couple energy here, moving forwards together. Yeah, you can move forwards together. 40, the number of viability comes in on that card as well. So yeah, that you can do a lot together. I think you could achieve more together. Again, with stronger together coming in as well. I think you two can achieve more together than you could individually, which is really quite an exciting prospect to look at. You know, that there's a lot of good potential here. And that comes in on number 17, very hopeful number, very positive energy. Now, as far as love goes on the longer term, I feel this person is slower to warm up, slower to open their heart. Yeah, what do you need to let go of? I think with person 2, there are some things emotionally that they do have to have a good think about with 65, 11, 2 coming through here. Now, I am a numerologist, so I do always point out the numbers. 65, 6 plus 5 is 11, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So that's why I say 65, 11, 2. That's how we reduce the number in numerology. So we actually have 3 numbers to deal with, not just 1 in this particular case. So I'm very drawn to that number 65, and that feels to me like he the male energy here. It's not necessarily a man, but it's quite a masculine energy coming through. So divine masculine energy could be a woman, doesn't matter. But I feel like this person here kind of needs to have a chat with themselves about whether they want to do this and what they need to let go of. There might be an ex in the picture, I feel, potentially here. There could be some old hurt they need to let go of, or maybe just some plans that they're not sure if they're going to do that or not. I think once they give their all to this relationship, yes, this can go for the long haul, you know. Once they make that decision, I think it will be more a case of this person deciding, but once they're in, they're in. Okay, it will take them a little bit longer to get there, I think, but it's a very nice combination, and I don't think they would be able to resist person one, because there's a very, very beautiful connection here, and I think this person really is quite pragmatic, and they will recognise that, you know, there is this beautiful spiritual connection, which I think person two will feel towards person one, and I think they will know. It'll just take them a little bit longer to get to maybe to the I love you stage with the number 6 of the heart, the sacred chalice coming in with possibly maybe. It'll take them a little bit longer to get there. And with 65, I think they might have to have a think about it first and maybe have a talk with themselves or a talk with a trusted relative. I got a trusted elder then for some reason, which is an interesting word to come through from my guides, but that's the word they gave me, so that's the one I'm going to give you. So all in all, I think it's a very nice connection. I think there's a very nice compatibility between these two people, pile one. I think this could be a very good choice for you. I think you could go a long way together. I think it would have long-term potential, as long as this is what you both want, as long as you're able to communicate clearly. I think this has some great potential. So we're just going to pull some charms here just to finish off, see if there are any other influences that you need to know about regarding this person and this relationship. Is there anything else that pile one needs to know about this person, about this relationship? So, oh, that's a lot of charms. Okay, a lot apparently. There's a lot here. I think you may have quite a few previous lives together because we got a lot of energy coming through. So, it's a treble clef. Okay, the music symbol, treble clef. So there could be a connection to music here specifically for some of you. Then we have a moon. I do think there is a beautiful astrological compatibility. I think there could be specifically to do with your moon signs here. And it's interesting we have a second moon. So this is a very sort of gentle psychic energy coming through here between the two of you. And there's a little fairy sat on this one with a star, a little fairy sat on the moon with a star. So there's a very dreamy feel here. So there could be a bit of a Piscean energy coming into with the connection, or Cancer, maybe some water sign coming in there as well. What else have we got here? We have a yin and yang. So yes, I think you would complete each other quite nicely. I think in many ways, there might be a sense of, oh wow, this person completes me. They have all the things. It's tiny, look at that. They are all the things that I'm not. But it's not quite that simple. Yes, you do complete each other in some ways, but not in others. I think you could have a tendency to need someone else to step in to ground you, or to remember to ground yourselves, because I think you both bring a lot to the table. There is a beautiful compatibility, and like I said, it's like divine feminine energy on this side, divine masculine more on that side, and that is nice. You do need both. I think that's a beautiful beautiful energy there. So we have a dinosaur, or maybe a dragon. That could be meaningful to somebody, but also what's this, like a little T-Rex. It's very cute, but he's got a very sweet smile. So I feel like this person may appear maybe a bit brusque on the outside, but they're a big pussycat inside, I want to say, but not everyone necessarily sees it. I feel like this person may be a little bit misunderstood. Person two could be a little bit misunderstood. So we've got a couple of birds. So clearly freedom and travel are going to be a very important theme in this relationship. Freedom, I think, for both of you, but possibly travel together. Yeah, because you are different birds, but I get the words birds of a feather, flock together. And I feel you would be drawn to each other because of your similarities, as well as your differences. I think there's a beautiful complementary energy between you. So next we have a little frog. He's very cute, little froggy here. Very cute. I look at the back of these because some of these charms are double-sided. This one isn't. This is just the front side. So we've got a little connection to a frog here. Without wishing to sound rude, I am drawn to France with the frog, because obviously frog's legs are a national dish there. I'm not being rude on purpose. So it could be a connection to France or French language or something there. I'm just drawn to mention that. rather than going down the amphibian line, which is generally, that's usually the symbolism I go into, and that obviously the frog could be very meaningful for you as well. There could be a very strong connection for you to, like, I don't know, Kermit from the Muppets or something. I don't know, that could be a meme they sent you. Might be something very meaningful for you. Remember, this is a group reading, so take what makes sense for you and leave what doesn't. And there could be elements that you see here that make sense to you that I don't even know about and I haven't mentioned. So next we have a dragonfly. So this is very transformative energy. This is beautiful. I think you can transform, grow and heal a lot together. I think you both have a healing ability that you can both use. And I think when your energies are combined, wow, that could be incredible. Like if you're both Reiki masters or something, if you both get your hands on someone, I think that could be really explosive energy. Very, very powerful. So we have a little cat, which I find interesting because we've got the cat person, dog person card. So I'm going to put this little cat over here, our little intuitive feline energy coming in here to remind you about boundaries, to make sure that this person doesn't accidentally step on them a little bit, because they wouldn't mean to, but I think they could, just because they're very kind of got bull in a china shop energy sometimes here. They're very pragmatic. They just want to get stuff done. They just want to get it done. Yeah, and you might need to, or person one, if you resonate with person one, might need to just, put up the boundaries there occasionally. And then we have this little leaf, just with a little nick taken out of it. And this one is double-sided, like, very interesting. So there's a connection to nature here, but there could be a connection to autumn, I want to say, or the fall particularly. That could be when you actually meet this person, or there could be an important date, like a birth date or an anniversary around that time, around the autumn, around fall. So whenever that is in your hemisphere. So it's a very interesting blend of energies. I like this one. When we ask the question, is this person good for me? Are they going to be right for me? I would say, yeah, there's a very strong compatibility here, very strong potential compatibility. My guides are showing me 98% in my mind, so that's the number I'm giving you, 98%. Now remember, this is a potential energy. There's no guarantee that you will even get together. You might decide you're not interested, and that's fine too. So, pile one, it's been a pleasure to read for you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please do also leave a like on this video, leave a comment if there's something you would like to share with the group. Please do remember to be respectful if you leave a comment. We are all human beings. Let's try to be nice to each other. You take very, very good care of yourself. I'm sending you so much love, so many blessings. I will see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hello pile 2, welcome to your reading. You have chosen the Dragon Wisdom Oracle and the lovely Rose Quartz crystal. So we shall pop that over there and let's take a look at the energy of you and your person. Let's take a look at the compatibility there, romantic compatibility, and see if this person is actually good for you. Are they right for you? So let's just take a look here. Alright, so I'm going to lay it out in a person 1, person 2 format. So I'm going to put person 1 here, and I'm assuming that's you, but it might not be. So it might be that you resonate more with person 2, or you might have both have traits of both people. So see what makes sense for you. Remember, this is a group reading. Take what resonates, take what and leave what doesn't. If none of it makes sense on this particular pile, this might not be the right reading for you. You might want to try another pile. If you can't get any messages at all that make sense, this might not be the reading for you. There might not be any messages for you at all. So we have person 1. Let's take a look at the cards here. We have the Fire Chalice, we have Fear, and we have the Universe. Wow. Okay, so this is a very, very different energy to pile 1's reading, I'll tell you that. Okay. So, more of a fiery person here. So we could literally be dealing with a fire sign, somebody who has a lot of fire in their sun, moon or ascendant, or even a fire sign stellium in their chart, which is, I think, when you have like 4 or 5 planets in one particular sign is called a stellium, and it makes that particularly important. So very upfront energy, very I was going to say strong, but it's not really that, because it's kind of underpinned by fear. So I feel like pile 2, if person 1 here resonates for you, it might be that you have a bit of a quick temper. You might be somebody who maybe struggles with impulse control. That might be a bit ADHD sometimes. But this beautiful universe card is here as well. I see you're a very beautiful soul. You know, you're a seeker of truth. Maybe you're somebody who fights for justice, who fights for the little guy. Yeah, there's a real sense of justice here with you as well that comes through very strongly. But there is this dynamic fire energy that comes through, which means that you're a go-getter. You like to get things done. You don't hold back when you decide you're going to do or say something, which could probably get you in trouble sometimes. So there's a very dynamic, and it's very transformative as well. I feel like you may be somebody who's had to transform yourself at least once in your lifetime. You may not be the person you used to be. There's kind of a very strong phoenix energy that comes through with the fire chalice as well. I'm drawn to say that you may have had to literally rebuild yourself from the ground up. You know, you may have gone through a very difficult situation and you've had to completely reinvent yourself or heal yourself. Certainly not an easy energy for you to have dealt with, and you know, that you may be very fearful about getting into a relationship. You know, you may be very concerned, and you may have very good reason to be fearful about getting into a relationship. You may have had some very, very difficult experiences. But despite that, I feel, Pile 2, like person 1 here really wants the relationship. They want the love. They have this beautiful energy. It's I want to bring in Sagittarius, a bit of a Sagittarius energy, you know, a little bit idealistic, but wants the big things, you know, wants that connection, wants the love, wants the big love story. It's very big-hearted, you know, and it does resonate strongly for fire signs. Very big-hearted here. Genuinely wanting that connection and being prepared to go into the relationship despite your fears, despite the fact that things may have, you know, been very difficult for you in the past, and that may not be specifically to do with romantic relationships. You may have just been through a very challenging time, you know, to do with your health, or through an abusive situation, or a very difficult work situation or something like that. You are so brave. There's this real courage, this big heart that comes through from person number 1 here. So let's have a look at person number 2 here, which I'm assuming is your person, but this might resonate more for you also. So we have Dragon Rider, we have Initiation. This is actually the Queen of the Dragons here coming through, and we have Gratitude. 2 very beautiful white, very mystical, spiritual dragons coming through here. So I do want to say person 2 is really quite intuitive, very spiritual energy coming through here, but equally determined as well with the Dragon Rider. So if this is the dragon, this is the Dragon Rider. So yeah, at first glance I would say compatibility wise, yeah, but you are like poles apart. You know, this person is cool where this person is hot, you know, but equally this person wants to go along for the ride. You know, they're fascinated. I feel like person 2 is fascinated by person 1's fire and drive and energy and enthusiasm, and although they may not completely understand it or even have those traits themselves, they love it. Very attracted to the energy. It's kind of an opposites attract energy, I want to say, between you 2. Very interesting to see, but very beautiful as well. And I think this person has a good attitude, I want to say, with gratitude coming through. I've got a good attitude from this person. They see person 1 for who they truly are. I feel like person 2 really sees person 1 for who they truly are, accepts that they're different, and is very excited by that as well. So yeah, they could definitely be passion and flames in this relationship, but let's see what else the cards are going to say to us. We're going to have a look at the combined energies now with this card between you. Destiny. Ooh. Yeah. So we could have actual fate coming in to bring you 2 together, because on the face of it, you look very different. I think a lot of people might look at the combination and say, why on earth would this person and that person get together? I don't get it. I don't see the attraction because they're so different, you know. But ultimately, I feel like there is a powerful connection. Again, I feel it's a karmic connection, which is what I sensed as well with pile 1. This feels like a karmic connection, which is where the attraction is coming from. Now, whether on the longer term you'll be good for each other, we're going to try and have a look at that and have a look at the energy and the potentials there. Obviously your life is always your choice, your responsibility. You get to decide what you do. Oh, you're together. Sorry, my guide's just directing me to a different pack of cards. I was going to pick up one and they said, no, not that one, the other one. So we're not going for the Psychic Tarot for the Heart, we're going with the Quantum Oracle for you. So let's take a look. That's interesting actually, because the Quantum Oracle brings in a very different energy here. It's a little bit more mystical in some ways. It's hard to explain, but it's more down to earth, but more spiritual at the same time. I'm not explaining that well. Right, okay. Status quo. Peace. Great achievement, new beginnings, and the combined energy increase. Yeah, it's interesting. I think the drive and dynamism of person one can really help person two to achieve more things in their life. I think person one will be like a breath of fresh air to person two. We've got this lovely new beginnings card here with a new cycle. It's almost like you bring them the life that they never thought they could have. It never occurred to them that they could even have that. But at the same time, I feel that they have their own wisdom and intelligence, of course, here. But they were maybe just lacking the balls, I want to say the cojones, to get things done. And person one comes in and kind of kicks person two up the backside in the nicest possible way. And they get stuff done when they're around. So, yeah, it's not a combative energy as such. It's more just very complementary energy here with kind of like hot and cold. So I kind of want to go to fire and I want to go more to like a water or air sign over here. Not necessarily, you know, this is just the energy that I'm getting here. But ultimately together, it's interesting because this person brings you peace. So person two brings peace to that person, but this person brings achievements to that person. That's how I'm sensing the energies here. So this person one helps person two to achieve and be the person they always knew they could be, but perhaps were lacking motivation, courage, strength to get there. Whereas person two comes in with this very gentle, much cooler energy to the fray, and they bring peace to person one who perhaps, you know, was struggling, was lacking in peace, was lacking in contentment. You know, maybe person one, if that's you, was struggling not having the kind of support. This person is kind of a very gentle, supportive energy, whereas this person is kind of the fire. This one brings the fire, which is lovely, and it's such an interesting combination. It is really an opposites attract kind of energy here, but in a nice way, because it helps you to get places together. The combined energy here, we've got destiny and we've got increasing cycle on a number 3. So the potential here is really great. You know, the potential is for you to both take each other forwards in life, very much so, I want to say. And that's not to say that you necessarily end up together forever. You know, relationships don't have to last forever. That's okay. They last as long as we want them to, but it certainly has long-term potential. I want to go all the way up the driveway to the sort of the manor house at the end here. I want to say there is a great potential with this relationship for it to go on the long term. I'm really liking this one. Very, very interesting combination of energies, if that's something that you two choose to move forwards with. Would you be good for each other? I would say yes. I would say, yeah, you can definitely bring things to the table that the other person lacks. Are there any doubt? Oh, yes. Bring a lot of transformation to each other's lives. But because of the differences in the transformation, you may find that you don't want to be together forever. It might just be too different. Yeah, so I don't want to say necessarily that you would fight. I mean, you might do. This person definitely is always up for a fight. This person might not like that quite so much. They may avoid the fights. This person's probably the more passive-aggressive of the two. But you bring great transformation to each other, I want to say, and great change to each other. So you may just have a wonderful relationship, both move each other forwards in your lives, and then decide to go your separate ways. But that's still a successful relationship. You know, you've still got a lot out of it. There's still these wonderful experiences to be had, whether it goes long term or not. You know, it's going to be different for everyone. This is a group reading. I can't say whether this is definitely a long-term relationship or not, but it does feel like there is a potential for that to happen. But equally, you might just step into each other's lives to help move each other forwards, and then find that actually you're a little bit too different and you just want to go your separate ways. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So let's bring in the Romance Oracle here. Let's get a little bit more information about the individual energies and the potential here. So it's a nice potential. I like it. It's exciting, very exciting, but obviously exciting can get exhausting as well. So there is that too. So what we've got here for person 1. Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready? Player 1. Candy Girl. Emotional disconnect. Yeah. Okay. Long-term relationship. Divine timing. This or that. Okay, and the combined energies, anxiety and fear, heart healing, and what do you see? Okay, that's very interesting. Just filling in some gaps here for me in the energy. Right, so person 1, are you ready? Are you ready? You're always ready to go. Person 1's always ready to go. They bring the fire. They bring the party. The party goes where they go. With Candy Girl and emotional disconnect, though, I feel like person 1 may have some more emotional healing to do. I mean, who doesn't? Am I right? But there could be some unrealistic expectations or maybe some mental health challenges to deal with here. So I just want to say, if person 1 resonates for you, I just want to say have a look and see if that applies to you, because of course this is a group reading, it may not, but I want to say there is a possibility of mental health issues, hurt, trauma that maybe you haven't processed or dealt with from your past that maybe needs to be dealt with for person 1 in order for them to go into this relationship. Because I think this relationship, because you're so different, I think it's going to bring up every single issue that you have. It's going to bring a lot up to be healed because this person is so different to you. Yeah, and in some ways I think person 1 could end up feeling a little bit inadequate in face of person 2, just because they're so completely different and they don't know what to make of that, or maybe person 1 feels inadequate, which would be very sad. Because the truth is person 2 wants a long-term relationship. They want this to work. They do. They believe in divine timing. They believe in soulmates. They want this beautiful relationship, but they're not prepared to settle. Again, this actually feels more like air energy than water at this point when we go to air signs. I would say air or water sign here. So air signs are of course Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Water signs of course Cancer, Scorpio and Pisces. So that's more on this side for me, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly the person's sign. But I feel like this person will be very careful in their choices. They're not going to stay with somebody if it doesn't feel right, because they really want the long-term relationship. So there's a good potential here, as long as person 1 does their healing so that they make sure they are on the same level emotionally as person 2. And it's noticeable to me that we've got a 64 here and a 63 there. So on your spiritual path, you're actually quite close to each other. I want to say on your spiritual path, you're close to each other. So this is a soulmate connection for sure. I think you've known each other in past lives, and I think one or both of you may sense the past life connection. You're going to know it, you're going to sense it. And it's possibly because of that there is this anxiety and fear that comes up, particularly from person 1. But I think it is shared in some respects by both of you, because this is the combined energy down the middle here. So there could be some fears that come up if you had a difficult past life together, or if it's a past life that ended badly. There could be some karma to clear. There could be some ancestral karma for one or both of you to clear here, just to give this relationship a better chance. Certainly heart healing comes up as a very, very strong theme here. So you know, we may have this idea that, oh, we get with the right person, it heals our heart. Well, actually, I want to go the other way. I want to say this relationship could highlight the need for heart healing for both parties. So I'm going to say, if you want to go into this relationship, if you both choose to go into this relationship, it will flag up the need for healing the heart chakra, the higher heart chakra as well, which I think is why you've chosen the rose quartz crystal, which is the one that was on top of your pile of cards here. And we've also got dragon energy here. Dragons are very powerful, very supportive creatures to come in, very supportive, I don't want to say animals, that's a bit rude, beings, shall we say, there we go, otherworldly beings. And they will support you. You know, ask the dragons to help, ask them to step in, ask them to show you the way with healing. But healing will be a very strong theme of this relationship if it is to be successful. So it could be counselling, it could be psychotherapy, it could be physically that there are things that you need to heal in yourself. You know, you might need to go to the doctor, you might need, you know, to go and see a healthcare professional, you might need to go to the dentist, whatever it is. I think this relationship is going to highlight it. And what do you see? Oh yes. It's almost like you're very strange mirrors for each other. Okay. I mean that in a good way, but it's almost like one person looks at the other and sees everything missing in themselves, which on the one hand is wonderful because you think, oh wow, this person can bring all those things to the table but that I don't have. But on the other hand, it can make you feel inadequate. Yeah, it can show you all the things that you lack, and that can bring in anxieties, it can bring in low self-esteem issues to come up. But again, it brings you the opportunity to heal them. So I want to say, if this person brings up issues for you, they're coming up so that you have the opportunity to heal them. And that doesn't mean that the other person has the right to treat you badly, because they absolutely do not. All right. If you get any red flags in the relationship, you walk away. Okay. You are sensible. You take care of yourself. But just on the level of energy, from what I'm looking at here, there is a good potential here. I think as long as both parties are prepared to do their healing and to not let anxiety or impulsiveness, particularly person one, I want to say particularly, don't let impulsiveness get the better of you. Don't assume that this person is judging you, because I don't think they are. Okay, if anything, they're judging themselves. I think there is a good potential here if you're both prepared to do the work on yourselves, to step forwards, because you bring in a lot to the table, you bring in a lot. So we're going to have a look at some charms for you two. So let's find out what pile 2 is there any other messages or information that pile 2 needs to know about this potential connection. What have we got here? Oh, well, not so many. Okay, we had more come out for pile 1. I had a lot come out for pile 1. What do we have here? We have a unicorn. Wow. So unicorns might be meaningful, or you might literally be a unicorn compared to the other person. You might be so different to what they're used to. You might literally be the unicorn they've been looking for. So the hearts intertwined, that's beautiful. Yes, there's a strong love connection here, potentially, you know, with the hearts intertwined. You know, that is beautiful. But I also want to say there could be a risk of codependency as well. So watch out for that. Make sure you're not falling into that trap. What do we have here? We have a cat. Well, it's our second cat today. It's a slightly different cat to pile 1. It's cat here. Very beautiful cat, and he's looking off to the side. He has an interesting marking on his forehead. I'm very drawn to ancient Egypt with this cat. I want to say I'm very drawn to the Bast cats, to Bastet, the goddess Bastet. I'm very drawn to ancient Egypt, so there could be a connection to Egypt, to ancient Egypt, to pyramids, to that kind of magic mythology, with goddess Bastet, and also with Sirius, with planet Sirius for you too as well. A froggy making his second appearance today. He also showed up for pile 1. That's interesting. That's literally the only thing that's been the same so far between these two readings. So very, very different. A little froggy showing up. So the frog is an amphibian. You know, he can live inside and out of the water. So it feels as though, although you come from different worlds, you can still get on. You can still be compatible here, although you appear to come from very different worlds. And the moon coming. Oh, the moon. And for some reason I get the word Hecate coming in here as well. So I want to say dark moon energy coming in here. So it could be that you show in the person things that they have hidden, things that they've hidden behind a curtain. I want to say that you have the potential to bring up very, very deep buried emotional hurt in each other. Okay, which could be great because you might touch something, and when someone touches something and it hurts, it shows you that it needs healing. It gives you the opportunity to do that. But equally, I think if you were to fall out and things went sour, you could also do each other a lot of harm. So I want to say, be nice if you break up. Be nice, okay? Because otherwise it could go very sour very quickly. So very interesting connection. I still like it. I still think there's a nice potential here. You know, if you're both prepared to put the work in, you could be very compatible. You could very much support each other on the longer term, you know, but remember you're different. Okay, remember you are different and you're here to complement each other, not to be the same. Everyone brings something different to the table because we bring our strengths to the table and our weaknesses too, and your strengths and weaknesses will be very different. You know, you may come from completely different cultures, different countries, different planets. You know, one of you may be a starseed and the other person not. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'd very much like to see how it goes for you if that's a relationship that you both choose to move forwards with. But the potential's there if you want it, but you're going to have to put the work in. So I hope that's helpful for you, pile 2. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave me a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Please do feel free to watch one of the other piles as well. If one of them resonates for you, you can watch more than one, but don't go and look at another one looking for a different answer, okay? That's not how this is supposed to work. That won't help you. You'd only be kidding yourself. Please do leave a comment if there's something you would like to share with the group. Please do remember to be respectful if you leave a comment. We're all human beings. Let's be nice to each other. I'm sending you lots of love, healing and heart healing to give you a bit of a head start on this card here. Sending you so much love, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye. So hello pile 3, deck 3. You've chosen messages from the Mermaids and the clear quartz dragon egg crystal. So let's pop this one over here and take a look at the romantic compatibility of you and your person. Let's have a look, see if they're right for you, see if they'd be good for you, because ultimately that's what matters. It's all very well them being interested in you, but if you're not going to be good for each other, then it might not be the right relationship. So as always, you have free will. Everything is your decision. I'm not going to tell you what to do or what not to do. So we're going to do person 1, person 2, and the combined energies in the middle. So I'm assuming that person 1 is you, but it may not be. You may resonate more with person 2, or equally you might both have some traits of each person. So person 1, person 2, and the combined energies. Oh, we've got 2 cards coming out. All right. Okay, so let's take a look here at person 1. We have healing, we have ask for help, and we have contentment. Oh, what a beautiful energy for person 1 here. Very beautiful energy, very soft, very gentle, divine feminine energy coming through here. Healing, wow, I feel a connection possibly with pile 1 here, so you might want to watch that one as well, because there was a connection to healing there too, but you might find you resonate more with person 2 from pile 1, so that's just a suggestion. Only do that if that resonates for you. Contentment, ask for help. Wow, what a beautiful team player you are. Person 1, beautiful team player. Wow, you love helping other people. There's this real gorgeous energy with the contentment card. It feels like you like to have an easy life. You take care of other people because you genuinely want people to be as happy as you are. I'm getting a bit of a Libra vibe coming through here as well. But genuinely somebody who has the good Libra traits, who wants to be and that doesn't necessarily mean you're a Libra, but you may have a Libra sun sign, moon sign, or ascendant, who really wants to help the world to be a good place where people are supportive, loving, kind to each other. Maybe a little bit idealistic here as well. Maybe a little bit of a naive energy coming through with person 1 here as well. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a very beautiful, gentle person. Very wise person as well, with great wisdom, great emotional depth, I want to say, with person number 1 coming through here. This is somebody who knows how to ask for help when they need it. They know how to work as a group, how to work together. And I feel there's a natural healing ability here as well. So let's just pop these cards down. We'll have a look at person 2. So person 2's mermaid cards. We have patience. Oh, look how much darker these cards are. A lot darker here. So this person, I think, is less of a team player. Definitely. Patience, recognition, and relaxation. Very laid back energy. I think this person's good with money as well. I'm very drawn to that big orange fish there. I'd say this person's good with money, good at work, with the recognition card coming through here. So they're very good at whatever they turn their hand to. I want to say person 2, very capable, maybe gifted in some ways. they work for what they get, and they like to do it on their own, more of a lone wolf energy, whereas this person is more of a team player, more of a group person. So I think this person also values spending time on their own. I think they like peace and quiet, whereas this person kind of enjoys parties and going out with other people. But equally, person one is kind of happy with whatever makes other people happy. Maybe a little bit of a people pleaser, pile one, person one. I think person one might be a little bit of a people pleaser, and will kind of go along with whatever person two wants, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I do want to say, make sure that you're not compromising yourself too much for person two. So person one might have a habit of compromising themselves a little bit too often for person two, because person two is much more inward facing. It's almost like I've got more of an extroverted personality here, more of an introverted personality there. That could just be your social style, you know. It's an interesting combination, but this person's a lot more mysterious as well, with these beautiful darker coloured cards. There's definitely more mystery here, but I feel very successful as well, very successful in their own right. So we're going to have a look at the combined energies. So we have the future and we have blessings. Oh, that's nice. I want to say this could be a blessed union. It really could. For some of you, this could be a very, very blessed union. Very forward thinking, because we're bringing through two people who are quite different, but who both want the same things. I think there could be a potential here for you to both want the same things, which is very helpful in a relationship. You know, if your 5-year plans match, that's a good start. You know, that's a good thing when it comes to compatibility. You may go about things very differently. You may have, I feel, very different personality styles, but I feel your goals align here, and that is very, very helpful indeed. I do feel like there is something divinely guided about this relationship as well. There may be divine intervention to actually bring you two together. It's an interesting one. I think there is long-term potential here, just off the face of what we're looking at here. It's very nice, but again, you are very different, so you are going to have to bear that in mind, but that's not necessarily a problem. So, where are we going next? You want these cards? Okay, my guides want these cards. We're bringing in the romance angels. All right. Yes, we are. Okay, not the deck I was expecting to use, but we do what we're guided to do. I always say I work under instruction. My guides just tell me to do what to do, and I just do it. I'm just a glorified mouthpiece. Right. Person one. This could be the one. Romantic feelings. Oh, that's nice. Healing family issues. Pay attention to the red flags. Express your love. Okay. All right. Okay, that is interesting. So with person one here, it does feel like there are some genuine feelings here, and there is certainly this sense that this person could be the one you've actually been looking for. Now, I feel like this person may be less forward in the relationship, especially with the red flags card coming up here. It feels like this person's very cautious in relationships, and they may be cautious of person one specifically. There may be some traits in common with an ex where it went badly. I feel like person two is very attracted to person one, but they're wary of them, so that may be something to overcome. There may be some trust issues to actually deal with here. I feel like this person has been betrayed, and it could actually be because we've got the healing family issues card here. It could actually go all the way back to childhood. It could be some very old stuff to do with the mother or father. Maybe somebody wasn't there for them. Maybe somebody left. There was a divorce perhaps when they were a child. They could also be divorced. I feel person two might be divorced, or they might have had a very painful breakup and be very uncertain about who they want to be with, because their energy is quite introverted, so I don't think they'll be very forthcoming with how they feel about things, and they may feel a bit standoffish. I think they may feel standoffish because they do have these things to heal. This could be a little bit frustrating, I think, for person one, who, you know, has all these feelings and wants to move forwards with the relationship. And I think person one sees the potential in the relationship, faster than person 2 does. I mean, person 2 is definitely attracted to person 1, but I'd say they've got more emotional baggage that they're bringing to the table. They're fearful for sure, so that could certainly cause some issues. That in and of itself can cause issues in a relationship if one of you has more healing to do than the other. So again, that could be a red flag for person 1, that person 2 has this healing to do. But the combined energies here, you know, it is saying it is safe. You know, it is actually safe for you to come together. You could be a great couple. Yeah, as long as person 2 is prepared to step up and go for it. But I think person 2 could be the one that holds it back here. You know, person 1, if that's you could be raring to go, like, yeah, this could be great, we can get on really well, I can see it. And person 2 is like, yeah, I'm not sure. You could be dealing with a wounded bear here. You know, not necessarily a man, but, you know, somebody who just needs to do their healing. Could be right person, wrong time. With this person here, you might need to wait for them into the future, because we did have the future card here. So this could be a relationship actually for a little bit further off into the future. This might not be a now relationship. This might be a future, a little bit further off, longer term future relationship. So it might be right person, wrong time for some of you, because of course this is a group reading. Take the elements that make sense to you, leave the ones that don't. So yeah, it's not ideal necessarily. It certainly could work, but it may not be the ideal timing. I think timing in particular could be the key factor here. So let's bring in the Romance Oracle. Let's just have a look at the energies here of person 1, person 2, and then the combined energies in the middle. So person 1 and person 2. Okay, thank you. Beware what lies beneath. They did not want to come apart. They really didn't want to come apart, these cards. They were kind of stuck. New home and hearth, yes. What do you see? Self-care comes first, and then person 2, you are enough. Yeah. Heart healing, yes. Yeah, definitely need to do some heart healing. Oh, we're getting 4 here as well. Love Addicts Anonymous, sharing the load. Oh, okay, yeah. Alright, okay, let's bring in some combined energy for the middle. Sweet chocolates and roses, it's adorable. Anxiety and fear. Okay, emotional disconnect, yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, so beware what lies beneath. Alright, eyes open please. If you resonate with person 1, I want you to go in eyes wide open. Do not assume that person 2 is feeling the way you might think they're feeling. Make sure you're very clear on what they're feeling, because there's a certain enthusiasm. It's almost kind of like golden retriever energy that comes in with person 1 here. Very keen, you know, wants to move forwards into the relationship, very loving, very open, and this person just isn't those things because they're not able to be, at least not right now. So pay attention. What do you see? If somebody tells you who they are, if they tell you about themselves, pay attention to it. Listen. Don't put it to one side and go, oh, it'll be okay. I'll ignore that red flag. I'll ignore this, because there are red flags here. Self-care comes first. Yes, I want to make sure, person 1, you're putting yourself first in this relationship. Don't throw everything to one side to try and heal person 2, because I know some of us have a habit of doing that. You know, it's no shade, but you know, it's something that we do, and it's not always the most positive thing to do. Very tempting if you're a healer or an empath. We love to help people. We love to attract the bird with the broken wing in some ways. But it doesn't make for a healthy relationship. It doesn't necessarily make for a happy relationship. It can just be exhausting at the end of the day. And I feel like communication could be an issue here, just because I feel like your communication styles are so different, and my throat's starting to hurt a little bit. So I feel like throat chakra. I'm very drawn to lapis lazuli for you, this crystal. I've got a bracelet here in lapis. I'm just going to bring that energy in actually and pop it here, because I feel like communication could be an issue. It's strange because lapis normally I would bring in for the third eye chakra, but I want to bring in lapis for the throat. So if you have a lapis necklace, that could be a connection, or it could be helpful for this relationship, I think. Yeah, I think it brings in higher levels of communication. So with person 2 here, we have you are enough. Yes, I feel like person 2 needs a little bit of a self-esteem boost. just so that they're ready to step into the relationship and give it their all. Heart healing, yes, this person definitely has healing to do, either from a past romantic relationship or from a past relationship in childhood or earlier in life, perhaps with a family member. There's some deep wounding here, which makes them very cautious, I think. Love Addicts Anonymous, so there could be an actual addiction with this person. They may be struggling with some sort of addiction, whether it's a substance, whether it's, you know, one of those other addictions that exist, which I probably can't say on YouTube. They could struggle with codependency, or they might be a dependent rather than the codependent. So I would say they definitely have a lot of healing to do, which makes them more of a difficult person to get into a relationship with. Not impossible, but difficult. And I would say the timing doesn't feel quite right here. It might be that this person has a load of healing to do first, then they can get together with this person over here. So, you know, if you resonate with person 2, for example, my suggestion would be focus on your love, self-love first. Heal yourself and go slow in this connection. But sharing the load, I want to say that person 1 is very much willing and able to help person 2 to heal. So that could be a great strength. That really could be like a cornerstone of the relationship, as long as this person 1 doesn't give too much of themselves or try too hard, which could literally just push person 2 away. It could be very helpful, and that could actually be the basis, sort of, not exactly the basis, that's not the best basis of a relationship, but that could kind of be, I want to use the word cornerstone, and I like how it's in the bottom here. I want to say it's a cornerstone of the relationship. It's a supporting factor in the relationship of how you actually got together. With the combined energies here, we have sweets, chocolates and roses. That's very sweet, but that can be a little bit superficial, this energy here. So it might be that the relationship is lacking depth at this point because it just feels like the timing's off. Anxiety and fear come up as well. So again, there could be, with the fear of red flags on both sides. I think both parties very afraid of getting hurt. And the emotional disconnect, I think that's mostly coming from person 2, though, who maybe just doesn't want to open up. Maybe it's just not the right timing. So there's definitely a potential here. And I think if you're person 1 or person 2, you'll see that potential in the other person. You think, actually, I would like that person. But it just feels like the timing's off for you too. So is this person going to be good for you? If we're asking that question, is this person right for me? I want to say yes, maybe. Yes, asterisk. They may be good for you in the future, or if you're both prepared to put a lot of work in right now. But I'm not sure if they will be completely right for you now. Okay, I'm hedging my bets a bit here, of course, because this is a group reading. You're all different. You're all in different situations, and you know your situation better than I do, of course. But it's not straightforward, and I just want you to go in eyes open so that you have all the information and you can get the best outcome, because I want you to be happy. I want you to have a happy relationship and a happy love life. So let's bring in some charms. Let's find out what pile 3 needs to know. Is there any other information or messages for pile 3 about this connection, please? Oh, there we go. There's quite a few there. Right. We have, what is this? This is a squirrel. It's a little squirrel sat on a branch all on his own. Very cute, very sweet. Woodland creature coming in, very gentle energy coming in with the squirrel. But I also want to say there could be, I want to talk about mental health. We could be dealing with some mental health issues, I want to say, with the squirrel. Maybe this person struggles with attention, paying attention to this person just because they're so introverted. Maybe they don't know what's going on. And I want to say, like, the conversations could get a little bit one-sided, like the squirrel sat on his own. Who's he talking to? He's talking to a branch. It might feel like you're talking to a brick wall sometimes, I want to say, with person 2 here. So we have a turtle here, a very beautiful turtle. So turtles are extremely wise, and for me they always bring in wisdom, spiritual connection and wisdom. And I think there's a lot of wisdom that can actually be gained from this connection here, but I think you also need to approach it with great wisdom as well. It might be necessary to bring in, I actually want to say, a grandmother energy. So I want to bring in crone energy. I want to bring in a wise woman, older woman, to actually bring in some perspective to this whole situation. You know, if you're looking for advice, I want to bring that kind of energy in here. I think having that kind of balancing older feminine person coming in, I think would be very helpful for both of you if this is a relationship that you both want to move forwards with. Also, I mean, the turtle may be meaningful for you personally as well. We have this lovely tree here. So there is a potential to grow. Absolutely. I think this would be a relationship where both of you are required to grow. Okay, you would have to grow, you would both have to do some healing, you would both have to learn some things about yourselves and each other. So there is work involved here. There's definitely a lot of work in this relationship, but that doesn't mean it can't grow into something beautiful. But I think it might grow a little bit slowly, or you might have to wait for the other person. This is what I was saying. It might not be the right timing. Like when we plant an acorn, for example, we have to wait for it to sprout. It doesn't turn into a tree immediately. It comes up as a tiny little sprout at first, and then it becomes a tiny little sapling that can hardly hold itself up. And, you know, it can take a while for it to grow into an actual strong tree. So I think this would take a while to get to where you want it to be, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, sometimes it's worth it. You know, good and endeavours sometimes do take a lot of time, and that's absolutely okay. You know, nothing wrong with that. Some people are absolutely worth waiting for and worth working for, and that's okay. Next we have this very extravagant dragonfly. I like this one. For some reason I want to call this one Salvador Dali, and I've been to the museum in Figueres. It's pretty cool. It's so weird. I kind of get this weird energy off here as well. It's like one of you is just really weird. One of you might be really, really weird and different and original. You know, I don't mean weird in a bad way. I love weird. I'm weird. One of you kind of almost like doesn't fit in this world, or maybe both of you. You know, although you're quite different, it's like there's this very novel, original energy that comes in here. So one or both of you might have very interesting pursuits or beliefs, or just be completely out of sync with the rest of the world. Very innovative. It's a very Aquarian energy that comes in here. So it's almost like you were born 100 years too soon or 200 years too soon, one of you. But very, very interesting, brings in a lot of innovation. I think innovation could be a strong theme in this relationship. You could achieve some very interesting, very futuristic energy. Again, with the future card we had here, there's a very futuristic energy that comes in. So you might both be very interested in something very futuristic, like AI or you know, virtual reality or cryptocurrency or something like that. Something very, very forward thinking, very, very almost before its time, I want to say. Next we have a little rocking horse. Now this is interesting because we've got a horse, a running pony here, and a rocking horse, and it feels like person 2 is the rocking horse and person 1 is the running pony. So that's how different you are. You kind of look the same on the outside because you're both horses, you're both human beings, presumably. You know, unless one's an alien, that's okay. But you're so different. You're very, very different, and I think you would have to reconcile the fact that you are very different. Whereas this person's more introverted and just tends to go backwards and forwards. This person wants to run around and find other horses to play with, you know. And certainly that could be something that could cause arguments, that could cause problems in the relationship. But as long as you find a way to be okay with who you are and accept that you cannot change the other person, certainly, you know, in conjunction with the healing that I think needs to be done here for many of you. Yes, this does have a nice potential. I like this connection. It's interesting. I think you may be very fascinated with the other person. They're interesting. You never quite know what they're thinking because they're so different to anyone else that you've ever known or been with. And that in itself might make it worth it for you, you know, worth any difficulties or challenges that you go through in the relationship. And again, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's a very interesting energy. So if we're looking at the question here that we're asking, which is this person right for me? Are they good for me? I think they could be. It might be right person, wrong time for some of you at the moment. I would say there's definitely some healing to be done, particularly for person 2. Don't ignore any red flags that come up. Don't ignore any red flags that come up. I just want to say that. Could be a little bit superficial if you get together at the moment, but it does have potential for the longer term. There is longer term potential. So it might be that you get together now, it's not quite right, and you kind of split up and come back together at some point in the future. Or you may already have gone through that phase and you're now looking at getting back together at this future stage, in which case, yeah, as long as the healing has been done, yeah, absolutely, it might be the moment for you to get together. So I will leave it up to your judgment. Of course, you have free will. This is your life, pile 3. I respect your choices and I support your choices, and I want you to be happy in your relationships. So I hope that was helpful. I hope that gave you some insight. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do remember to do so. Please leave me a like if you enjoyed this video so that I know and I can do more like this. If you don't tell me, I won't know. Please do, of course, comment if there's something you would like to share with everyone. Please remember to be respectful if you leave a comment. We're all human beings. Let's be nice to each other. Let's try and make the world a better place. I'm sending you so much love, support, and even more love. You take very good care of yourself, pile 3. I will see you very soon. Bye-bye. Hello, pile 4, deck 4. You have chosen the Star Dragons Oracle and the Septarian Crystal Heart. So let's pop this one over there. She's quite big. Let's pop her over there. Right. So we are going to have a look now at the compatibility with you and your person, romantic compatibility, whether this person is actually going to be good for you, whether you be good together, whether they're right for you, because I think that's quite an important question to ask. So we're going to be having a look at person 1 over here, which I'm presuming is going to be you, but it might not be. It might be the other person. And then person 2 over here, and then the combined energies in the middle. So let's take a look. So person 1, person 2, and the combined energies. All right, tidy those cards up. Pop my dragons over here. Pop that there. Right, so person 1. So we have healing, restoring hope, number 18. Vision, contemplating the future, and number 6, bliss, cherishing the day. Wow, what lovely hopeful cards for person 1. I like this a lot. This is a very beautiful energy, and it's almost like a new day is dawning, I want to say, for person 1. It feels kind of like they've been through a dark night of the soul and now the sun's finally coming up, and it's a very joyful energy connected with a mermaid on this card as well. So you may be drawn to, I want to say, you may be drawn to pile 3 as well, because that was the Mermaid Oracle. So there may be a connection there for some of you if that resonates. So do remember, this is a group reading, so take the elements that make sense for you, leave the ones that don't. You've got to remember that not everything may apply to you. It might, but it might not. So, wow, a real visionary, somebody looking towards the future, towards the age of Aquarius with optimism, but not childish optimism. I want to say it's visionary. It's seeing a vision of the future, which looks different to what came before. It's very different. There's a very Atlantean feel, I want to say, with person number 1. I feel that they've come here to help usher in the age of Aquarius, and I feel like they may have had an Atlantean lifetime. There's a strong connection there. I love these colours that are coming through here on this deck, but very loving. I can see this person has great compassion. Person number 1 has great compassion for other people, and that doesn't mean they're a pushover. It really doesn't. I feel like this person actually has quite a strong personality, is very much a natural leader, and that may be you if you're watching this particular reading. So let's have a look at person 2's cards. Person 2, we have choice, dominance, and grief. So choice, understanding consequences on number 9. Dominance on number 2, believing in yourself. Number 17, grief, accepting loss. Wow. It feels like you may, I mean, this may not be completely right for everyone, but it feels almost like 2 slightly older people here, or slightly older souls, or you might feel older than your years. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're chronologically older, but you may feel very old, or you may have like an older head on young shoulders, because there's a real gravitas. I mean, you do get a certain gravitas with this deck anyway, but it feels almost like an older energy here. So a meeting of 2 much older souls, or much older people, or perhaps even just a feeling of being very old, like, you know, this lifetime has seemed very long to you right now. So person 2, let's take a look here. Interesting. You see, I want to say this person's a leader as well. It's almost like a meeting of minds, but it could turn into Clash of the Titans. I want to say it's like two titanic souls meet each other, two huge leaders with leadership ability, with skills, with vision, who can lead other people. It's like you inspire other people, both of you. There's not much between you. It's like there's a cigarette paper's width between these two people. They're almost like twins. So we could have a twin flame situation going on here, but possibly quite a positive one. I mean, twin flame situations can be really, really difficult, really negative, really stressful. I don't see this as a bad thing. I feel like this person here, I think, is possibly slightly more fiery, more of a fire energy over on this side than that person who comes across to me as maybe more air energy. It's possibly in your astrology. You might have person 1 might have Libra, Aquarius, or Gemini Sun Moon, or rising sign, and over here person 2 may have some fire in their chart. So Sun, Moon, or rising sign may have Aries, Sagittarius, or Leo. But this person has, I mean, with the fire, it may not be literally the astrology. It may just be a little bit more anger coming through. This person feels more measured, for sure. Definitely calmer, definitely more chilled. Although they're similar, person 1's more chilled. Person 2 may have some issues to do with anger that still need to be resolved. Maybe some past hurt. Maybe they have they react when they should stop, think and act. So yeah, I do see that. Very, very interesting. I can see that you've both been through a lot, and that's again where I want to say maybe if you're of a certain age now, I don't know, but not necessarily. Remember, it's a group reading. But this person definitely feels more hard done by than that one. It doesn't necessarily mean that their experiences have been more challenging, more difficult, or more frequent, but this person still feels more hard done by. So perhaps this person has more work to do, perhaps more karma to sort through as well. There's certainly more healing over this side of the reading. Let's have a look at the combined energies in the middle here. Combined energies, we have tranquility and returning. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, that's an incredible harmonising energy that comes in here. So we've got Divine Feminine with her dragon, who's sitting down very nicely, behaving himself. And then the Divine Masculine over here with his dragon, who's also very calm. It's almost like we've got spring and autumn, spring and fall, or perhaps summer. Wow, this is a meeting of the Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine. This is, I would say this is a fated soul meeting. This is very much a fated soul meeting. Wow. I would place the masculine energy there, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a man, okay? And I would place the divine feminine energy over here, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a woman, all right? We all carry the divine masculine and feminine, but oh, wow, look how these colours just correspond so beautifully with one another. There's the beautiful pinks and blues over here, and then the sort of more earthy oranges and reds and a bit of grey over here. Wow, I mean, what a couple. If you can make this work, what a couple. Wow, that's I'm kind of lost for words. I'm a bit overwhelmed there. Like that's very, very interesting. That's a very powerful combination. I want to say a very powerful combination. But are they right for each other? Well, I think they could be absolutely right for each other. There may be a lot of passion and flames here. It may be quite a tumultuous relationship at times, and we could be dealing with a twin flame. It's definitely soulmate, but could be a twin flame situation, because wow, one embodies the masculine energy, one embodies the feminine, which is how we think of twin flames. And again, has nothing to do with gender. That's just the energy. Oh, incredible. I'll pull out another transcendence. Yes, yeah. I feel like no matter what happens with this person, they've come into your life to help you achieve higher goals, higher aims, to move to a higher level, because we've got a very transformative number 10 with transcendence, achieving success. So I think you will be transformative in each other's lives, regardless of whether you even pursue a romantic relationship or not. This connection here, you exist in each other's lives for a reason. And, you know, if you are able to know each other, have any sort of connection or friendship, and it's not just, you know, one person admiring another from a distance, I feel there's a huge amount of transformation to be had in this connection one way or another. So it's all this fire and rebirth, I want to say. very transformative. You may both find that your lives change in untold ways that you just were not expecting. I think you have the potential to achieve a lot together. But there is also the potential to do each other a lot of harm because you're both incredibly strong. And look at the necks really tucked in on all of these dragons. They're really tucking themselves in here. Their necks are really curled in. It just reminds me of when horses do dressage. Like they're trying really, really hard to look a certain way. So it might be that appearances are very important to these people. They may be people, whether you're par 1 or par 2, you may both be somebody who has perhaps a public image. You know, maybe you're an influencer, maybe you're a famous person, I don't know. But it does feel like image is important. How you are perceived, how you are seen in the world is extremely important to both of you. And I don't think you would tolerate anyone who wasn't able to respect that, who wasn't, who could possibly harm your self-image. But this is the thing, I think we'll recognise in each other this kindred spirit, this soulmate, possibly this twin flame, that this person who is so much like you in so many ways but carries the opposite energy. It's a really incredible pairing. I'm not going to say it would be an easy one. Definitely not going to say that it would be an easy one, because it's almost like fire meets water. It's that kind of clash of the Titans energy, but it could go so well. It could go so well. So let's bring in a few more cards here to see if this person is right for you energetically. Coyote spirit, trust in divine detours. Okay. Canary spirit, sing your own song. Bat spirit, a rebirth is assured. Horse spirit, freedom is yours. And then we're going to bring in combined energies of buffalo spirit, the abundant universe will provide, and grasshopper spirit, take a leap of faith. Yeah, this is very interesting. I really feel like the combination of person 1 and person 2, I feel like person 2 could really pull person 1 off their course. And this is where we've got the coyote spirit, which is the trickster. He's the one who challenges us, who sends us down a blind alley and makes us, trip over our shoelaces. But it does feel like it could be a very serendipitous meeting, serendipitous beginning to the relationship here as well, and there's a reason for that. But it feels like it pulls person 1 very much off course, whereas person 2, it's almost like they get a fresh start. So it's a very different beginning, certainly for each person. But there is a great deal of need for freedom. Look at these two cards here, the canary spirit, horse spirit. These are both about independence, sovereignty, freedom. Both of you need a lot of freedom. So, I mean, for some people, it might even be a situation of polyamory. I mean, I don't know an awful lot about that, but I know that's the thing. That might be right for some of you. Certainly not everybody, that's definitely not everybody's thing. But you both need a lot of freedom. And I think for this to work, which it could do, and it will take you a long way. This relationship could really catapult you forwards in your life, both of you. Although there may be a lot of ups and downs, it may be a little bit of a roller coaster at times. I think you will achieve a lot together with the buffalo spirit, which is about the abundant universe and manifesting, and then the grasshopper spirit, which is, it's about leaps of faith, but we've also got the little crown here, so it's about sovereignty. And on 30, it's about creation. 10 is change, creation. So you bring those energies to each other, change and creation. I don't think there would be a dull moment. Never a dull moment. It could be exhausting, this relationship, because there's never a dull moment. Never 5 minutes to sit down. You're always doing something. You've always got some army to conquer. There's always something to do, and it's always grand. The energy here is very grand, very big. It wouldn't surprise me at all if one or both of you was in the public eye in some way, shape or form. But I do want to say with these two, you both need huge amounts of freedom. But I do see as well that you're both very noble souls, I want to say, with the 12 and the 33 on these cards there. I feel like person 2 is really trying to follow their spiritual path, and theirs is a little bit more of a painful path, a little bit more difficult, I would say, in some ways for them. Whereas person 1... yeah, I mean, a beautiful independent spirit, I think, who knows her own mind. And person 1 is definitely here to help usher in the age of Aquarius, but perhaps a little bit more philosophical about it. There's kind of more of a philosopher feel over here. Very interesting pairing, very interesting combination. Yeah, it could work. You could take each other a long way. You know, if we have an equal pairing here, if we have an equal, you know, a relationship that's based on equality, where you're both prepared to give and take equally, which is very important, which I think you could do. I think you could definitely both handle each other, which I would say with this person in particular, a lot of people can't handle person two. A lot of people would not be able to handle person two, for sure. So stars align. Oh, okay, yeah. Time apart, distance. Ah, so this could be a long distance relationship. Self-care comes first. Yeah, I think it would have to, though, because you're both incredibly independent and you both have your own needs and desires. So it would be a case of doing a lot together and doing a lot apart as well. Why now? That one's going over there. Take some time together. Yeah, oh, interesting with the threes there. Oh, I see that. Can I have some more cards here, please? Yeah. You are enough. Candy girl. Possibly, maybe completion or fulfillment. Yeah, I mean, this person feels less sure than this person, but we've got some very sacred numerology coming out here, which I'm just going to point out to you. So we've got 6 and 66, so we've got a 666, and then we've got 3 and 33, so we've got a 333. Very, very sacred, very transformative energy. Bedford is trying to get in. I don't know if you can hear him trying to beat my door down, meowing. So he's interested in this energy as well. He does occasionally get interested in readings, very occasionally, but he likes something about this energy, so it's obviously got his attention. This person walks a very spiritual path, and that can be a very difficult path to walk, which is why many people would not survive, would not cope in a relationship with person 2. Okay, person 2 could be very challenging in many ways, perhaps very, I want to say pig-headed, very determined. I was trying to think of a polite way to say that, but very, very determined, very clear of their own mind and also of their own spiritual path, because it does feel like they are trying to embody the Christ consciousness, that they are trying to reach enlightenment, and that could be a conscious goal for person 2 in this situation. They may not be aware that they're doing it, but it feels like they do know. And they are looking for a higher love. You know, they're not just going to accept anybody. If somebody who shows up who isn't good enough for them, they will basically, you know, use them up in about 5 minutes like an old box of tissues, you know. Person 1, I want to bring in some reassurance here for you that yes, you would be able to cope with this person. They kind of have a bit of a disconcerting energy, so you might not be sure at first if they're even keen on you, you know, if they're right for you, but I think they would be. I think they have a very sacred path, and yes, there is a psychic connection there with them as well. So I think they would instinctively know that it was right, even if they've got other things going on in their life right now, because why now comes up. So timing is going to be absolutely crucial with this person. You may find they put you off just because the timing might not be quite right, or they have something else planned for the next couple of weeks or month or something, but don't be deterred by that. I don't think there's anything deceptive with this person. I just feel like they have a lot to do, a lot on their plate. It feels like their path is a very busy one, and that just is what it is. On this side, I want to bring in some reassurance. I want to suggest for person 1 as well, there is some healing to do here, some self-worth work to do here. And I think person 1 has more of a need for spending time together, so I want you to make sure that that your needs are met in this relationship. So well-being comes first. Yeah, commitment requires work, and yes, it will do. And there's another 12 here, so we've got a couple of 12s over here. 12, the number of perfect governance, and self-governance as well. So I think the relationship could be a little bit challenging for person 1, because I think it will push you out of your comfort zone. I want to say you're used to having things a certain way, and this person breaks all the rules. So it would definitely be challenging, but that's not a bad thing because it forces you to grow. Okay, so it's a very interesting connection, possibly a bit, well, I'm going to say definitely a bit turbulent, a bit turbulent at times. So yes, this person 2 has a lot of fire. They may run you ragged a little bit, so I do want to say well-being has to come first, and we've got self-care here as well. Self-care and well-being. Self-care is important for both of you. I don't think person 2 looks after themselves as well as they could, and I don't want person 1 running around after them, because that could definitely be a temptation there, which wouldn't be helpful. They have to learn to do it for themselves, because person one will need to be spending a lot of energy on themselves. And person two, I think, may even be asking themselves if they're ready. It may be a little bit overwhelming, this connection for person two. So that might be why they take their time and they actually think about it, because they really are on this spiritual path. They really are on this this path to enlightenment. I mean, you know, they may be a yoga teacher, maybe they're a I don't know, in some sort of spiritual profession like that, or they may be a psychic, a medium. They're definitely an old soul. They're definitely here to help with the awakening, the great awakening, you know, the transformation of humankind, the move into the age of Aquarius. That's what you're both here to do. And, you know, the connection between you is undeniable, you know, very, very strong, very powerful. But that connection, and we've got stars align here, so it could literally be astrologically it all comes together, all your ducks come into a row, and it's almost like a magical meeting. They have time apart and distance, so at some point this, I mean, I did say timing is very important, particularly for person two. So it could be a long distance relationship at some point. It absolutely could be, or it could start as a long distance relationship, or it might have to be if you both have commitments in different directions, if you are both in the public eye, if you do have to travel, if you're both quite high powered executives or something, or if you do the kind of work that requires you both to travel and take on a lot of responsibility, because these two people I'm looking at potentially have a lot of responsibility in their lives. They could be real high flyers, these two people. Very, very interesting to see. Good charms? Or you want astrology dice? Oh, okay. My guides want to go with astrology dice. Okay, then. Let's have a look here. So is this person right for pile 4? What do we need to know? Oops. Okay. All right, then. Sun in Pisces, 2nd house. And what I'm drawn to say with this combination, I actually want to say, like, you both come in to help each other on your spiritual path. It does feel like that, because we've got the Sun, we've got Pisces, very mysterious, psychic, Pisces, very dreamy energy. So, and then with the 2nd house of resources, it's kind of like only you are able to support each other. This is what I was meaning about both being quite high flyers perhaps, or both being at a very high level in your respective field, or both being very high level spiritually perhaps. It feels like you are the only two who can kind of meet each other at that level. It might be difficult to find somebody else at that level, for example, if this relationship were not to work out. Not to say that there wouldn't be someone, but there is something special about this connection for sure. I feel like this person will take you further spiritually. I think they will take you forwards on your own spiritual journey. You will take them forwards on their spiritual path as well. And I think you will be facilitators for each other in some way, shape or form. So that's a very, very exciting energy. And of course, those may mean something to you as well. I mean, you may be a Pisces, you may have Sun in Pisces, you may have, you know, Pisces in the 2nd house. So yeah, I would just leave that there for you to think about. And we'll go to, I can't speak, we will go to some charms. Is there anything else that Pile 4 needs to know about this connection? Any advice, any information they need to know about this connection, please? Is this person right for them? Oh my goodness. Okay, I didn't mean to take that many. That's a lot. I knew the Eiffel Tower was going to come out. There's the Eiffel Tower. Could have a connection to France or Paris or even Tokyo here with the Eiffel Tower showing up. That's quite important. But it's also like reaching up to the stars, reaching up to heaven, I want to say. The two of you, that's what you do. I have 2 turtles. Oh, 2 turtles, a pair of wise turtles, a pair of wise souls. Oh, that's a beautiful sight to behold. It really is. Okay, now this is getting interesting. So we have the big heart and the arrow. So this is like Cupid's arrow. So this is a real love story potentially here for some of you. Wow, very passionate, possibly quite lustful, I want to say. It might even be a little bit unexpected as well. A little bit unexpected, almost like Cupid's arrow struck and you thought, oh, I was not expecting to be attracted to this person. And yet here we are. And this very interesting dragonfly. I love this one because it looks so original and so different and so quirky and so just weird and different, and I feel this is the energy of this connection again. And I think this one showed up in pile 3. I'm trying to remember if it was 2 or 3. Second time I've seen it today, but it's a very quirky, original energy, and it's very modern, forward thinking, and it very much ties in with the age of Aquarius and the things that we haven't worked out how to do yet. So we have this lovely moon here as well. It could be a connection here with your moon signs, I want to say. Yeah, that's where they want to take me, and of course that could mean something to you as well, the lovely moon there. So we have an owl, so there's great wisdom in this connection, absolutely. We have a tree, so there's a potential for growth for both of you. I think because it's such an intense connection, possibly a twin flame for some of you, I think this is why we've got so many charms, because the energy is just so potent. There'll be so many things happening all at once, potentially, or lots of things happening in a short period of time if this is a relationship that you go ahead with. And with this kind of relationship, it does tend to be like cramming 10 years worth of spiritual progress into about 3 months. Yeah, that could definitely be a thing. So we have the little white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland here, or Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. So the little rabbit is here, so follow the white rabbit. This could be a real journey of discovery with this person. You know, they could literally take you down a rabbit hole or two. They could literally teach you things that you did not know, were not aware of, did not believe to be true. There are definitely some very interesting insights to come from this relationship. Very mysterious energy. We have a bat. I had a feeling the bat was going to come out for some reason today. With this one, he caught my eye in his little bag, in the bag of trinkets. The bat caught my eye earlier, and I thought, oh, the bat's going to come out. So there he is. So we could, for some reason, I want to say there could be a connection to Ozzy Osbourne, but I'm going to put the bat there as well. Then we have the C&D peace symbol. I like how I came this way up. I have heard that could be the correct way up, where it's supposed to go, rather than that way up, and I actually prefer it that way up. But peace, certainly disarmament. Wheel. Now again, I feel like that could be a contentious issue, taking the wheel. Who takes the wheel in the relationship? Because it's almost like there could be a battle of wills at some point, or a battle of wheels at some point. I mean, there may literally be a connection to the navy, to the merchant navy, to sailing here, to boats for some of you as well. Let's see what else we've got. There's so many things here. Right, we have a little fairy on a star looking down at the earth. So there's a starseed connection here for at least one of you. One or both of you could actually be starseeds, and it may feel very much like you don't belong in this world, and that could be one of the reasons that your path has been so very difficult, because you're not originally from planet Earth, you're originally from somewhere else, and so it's pretty difficult for you to be living here. I actually want to put this over on person 2, but it could relate to person 1 or both of you. And now I've got the little squirrel coming out again. That's his second outing today as well. The little squirrel sat on a branch, but he's all alone. I get a very lonely feeling from the squirrel, almost like he's the only one of his kind. Only one of his kind, something to do with nuts. Okay, something to do with nuts. All right, that's what comes to mind there for me. So there's a lot there for you to work with, a lot there for you to look at, and of course take your own personal meaning from as well. So that was very interesting for me, pile 4, I have to say. Of course, if you're drawn to any of the other piles, of course you can watch those too. If none of this resonated, this might not be your reading, but I do hope that some of it resonated for you. I hope there was something interesting or insightful in here for you. So thank you so much for watching. Please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, so I know and I can make more of them. Please do, of course, share a comment with us if there was something you would like to share with the community. Please remember to be respectful if you leave a comment. We're all human beings. Let's try and be nice to each other. Let's try and change social media to be a friendly and happier place. I'm sending you so much love, beauty, wisdom. I mean, this connection is very interesting. I'd be very interested to hear from you in the future about this connection, just because this energy is fascinating to me. You take very, very good care of yourself, pile 4. I will see you very soon. Sending you much love. Bye-bye.